Hello, welcome back. It's so good to see you. So today we are going to be doing a Q&A ramble video. I have not made one of these Q&A videos in a very long time. Let me just say that it is recycle day. So the recycling garbage truck is going through the neighborhood and I'm like, please go away because I need to record. Why do they always have to come when I'm recording? So I will probably have to pause the video when it gets closer, or I don't know, because sometimes two of them come through and it's like, ugh. Anyway, so hopefully they're going away and not just going down the street and then coming back. I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to warn you of that. But I always do my Q&A videos using this book. I do have another book that's got like 3,000 questions in it. So maybe when we're done with this book, I'll finally get to that book. But I like these because they're questions that you don't normally, think about. Now this says 1,000 things that you don't know about me. Please, if you've been with the channel for a while, you know everything about me because I never shut up. I'm very open on the channel, so we'll see if you don't know this stuff about me. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, and if you want to answer the questions as well, that would be great. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Now, I don't answer all of the questions because some of the questions are just stupid. I will pause the video if that noise keeps getting louder. I'm sorry if you can hear it. Hopefully you can't. Okay, let's see. My worst personality trait. What is your worst personality trait? I think my worst personality trait is that I have the need to control everything. I have to be in control of everything. And if I'm not, I go into panic mode. I don't know why, but that's why my relationship with my husband works. It's because he is just along for the ride. He's like, whatever you say, dear. Because it has to be whatever I say, because if it's not, then I'll freak out. But I don't know, I think maybe as I get older it will get less. I'm hoping that's how it will be, but I don't know. Okay, my best personality trait probably that I am very caring. I like to take care of people, I like to take care of my husband. I like to take care of my kids. If I can do something for someone else, I will. You know what I mean? I don't know. I like taking care of people. Let's see. The older I get, the better I understand that. The older I get, the better that I understand that no one knows what they're doing. No one actually knows what they're doing. I don't know who these people are that look like they've got their life together. I'm sure somebody looks at me and in my life and they're like, wow, she's really got her stuff together. But no, I don't. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And I'm like, I can't believe that I'm allowed to be an adult and I'm somebody's mom. What? I just feel like a little kid. And I think that everyone always feels that way, and no one knows what they're doing. I used to envy certain people because man, I wish I had my life together like this person. But that person, they don't have their life together. And I realize that, and it look around. Everybody might look like they know what they're doing, but they're all pretending. No one knows. They just wake up and hope for the best, Okay. One law I think everyone should have to follow is a law that is like the easiest law in the world. Stopping at a freaking stop sign. Why don't people stop? Or at yield signs. You're supposed to yield, which is slow down, look, stop if you need to. Okay? Especially in my neighborhood, no one stops at the stop signs. No one. And there's so many accidents in my neighborhood. And it's just like, it's a stop sign. All you do is you pull up and you stop for like 3 seconds. Maybe not even that. Okay? But stop. Why won't people stop at stop signs? It's like and sometimes they just keep driving like there's not even a stop sign. There's no slowing down. There's no nothing. It's like you always have to be on alert with other people because they're dumb. I'm like, who are these people that are just so cocky and so confident in their life that they can just speed right through a stop sign and just know no one's gonna hit them? Like, what? No. Just stop at the stop signs. Okay, the biggest revelation I had about myself was the biggest revelation. I guess, like, the older I get, the more I realize, like, who cares? Who cares? Because, like, as you're growing up, when you're a kid and a teenager and a young adult, it's like you care about what people think about you, you know? But in reality, no one is really judging you. Like, not really. So it's like I've come to realize that no one cares because I don't care. I don't care. Like, you could show up at, the grocery store or to the courthouse or whatever, and you could be in pajamas. I don't care. Good for you. You're comfortable. Like, listen to the music you want to listen to, and, like, just wear your makeup the way you want to wear your makeup, or don't wear your makeup at all. Go full gray. Like, dude, I can't wait for my hair to just full change. But it's like, no one really cares. No one is actually judging you. They're concerned about what they're doing. You know what I mean? No one cares. No one. But not in, like, a mean way. It's just like people care about you, but they, you know what I mean? It's like no one cares about, like, don't worry so much about your self-image and stuff like that, because literally no one cares. That seems kind of mean, the way that I'm saying it, but I hope it's coming across the way that I want it to, because I don't mean it like no one cares about you. Like, that's not what I mean. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Okay, my intuition serves me best when. What about your intuition? Like, do you have specific intuition? Because I don't know if it's called, like, intuition, but, like, when I meet someone, I instantly know if they are a good person or a bad person. I have always just known that. And if I meet someone and they're a bad person, I'm like, Like, there was this friend that my husband had when we first got together. After we first moved in together, he had this friend come over, and I met him, and I was like, I don't like him. He is a bad guy. And I felt bad because that was my husband's friend, and I was just like, he can't come over here anymore. That guy is bad. And I had only, like, literally interacted with him for like 2 minutes, and I knew right off the bat, I'm like, he's bad. Well, my husband had stayed friends with him, like through text message and, sending things on Instagram, that kind of thing. And he came back into our life a couple years ago, and I was just like, okay, he was a young kid back then. We'll see, And so I let him come over to the house, and I was just like, I just knew. I was like, this guy's bad. But I was like, maybe he's changed. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, like blah blah blah. He had not changed, and he didn't do anything. I don't want to get into the details of it, but he just did something real crappy to my husband, and I was like, I knew it. I told you this guy was a piece of crap. I told you. And my husband finally was like, okay, I see it now. After like 17 years. Okay? And I was judging it off of the 2 minutes that I talked to him 17 years ago, 18 years ago. I knew he was a bad guy, but I'm just using that as an example. But like, and thank God my husband finally realized it, and I don't have to worry about this guy ever again. But like, I don't know if that's intuition. I'm just a very good judge of character. So like, when I meet certain people, I'm like, this is a good person. I will be friends with them, and like, you know what I mean? Like, do you have a thing like that? Like, is that intuition? Like, I don't know. Okay. A weird food combination I enjoy is, okay, a weird food combination. The only thing that I can think of, just like right off the top of my head, and I've talked about it before in other videos, but I know not everybody watches every video. But when I first met my husband, the very first time that I talked to him, we were in the parking lot of Target, and me and my friend Adam, he was like my best friend in high school, me and my friend Adam, we had just had like lunch at Jack in the Box or whatever, and we were walking back to Target, and we met my husband in the parking lot, and for some reason we started talking about food, and my friend Adam was like, oh my gosh, you guys should try a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with pickles. And I was like, what? No. And he was like, trust me, when you get off tonight, when you get home, make yourself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with pickles. And so I was like, okay. So I did. Oh my God, it is so amazing. It's like, man, I really want to eat that like right now. But I'm trying to eat better, so that's not the most healthy thing to eat, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with pickles. Okay? But man, do I want one. I think I might have even actually eaten a peanut butter and jelly with pickles. No, that was peanut butter and banana sandwich, and then I had a peanut butter and jelly with Doritos, because I was doing like one of my pregnancy craving videos, and I was eating the food that I wanted when I was pregnant that I wasn't allowed to eat. But if you have never had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with pickles, do it. Just do it one time, okay? If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you do, you understand. Okay, my biggest vice is probably that I have to control things, but it's because everything has to be perfect. It has to be perfect. Like, I don't know. Like, the other day I was real tired, and I was like, oh, I don't want to cook dinner, you know? But I was like, I have to do it. My husband's like, what are we having for dinner? I was like, well, I was going to make breakfast for dinner, you know, like scrambled eggs, toast, that kind of thing. And he was like, well, I can do it. And I was like, no, no, I'm not going to let him do it because I have control issues. But also, he wouldn't do it right because I do everything perfect. Or at least in my mind, I do everything perfect. And like, I make the scrambled eggs a very specific way. If you don't make them the specific way, they're not going to turn out as good as the way that I make them. So, no. You are not going to make dinner. I'm going to make dinner. Even though I was tired, I know at some point I'm going to have to give up control. I'm just going to have to, because I will be physically unable to do things due to having multiple sclerosis. But right now, I can still do things, so I can still be in control and make things perfect. but that is a major vice of mine. Like, I can't, it's like I can't control that, you know. The last thing I lied about was, I don't really lie. I don't lie about anything, but I did tell a lie to my son, but it was because he would have freaked out and lost his mind and thrown a fit and had a horrible day if I didn't. Okay, so my daughter, she had a field trip, and this field trip I was not okay with. Okay, because it wasn't even a field trip. It wasn't even a field trip. They just ran out of time to schedule a real field trip to, like, you know, a museum or something. And they were like, okay, well, there's some woods like right down the street, and there's some trails in it, so we're just gonna take you guys to the woods and you can walk the trails as a field trip. Okay, and this isn't some like national forest type park thing. No, it's literally down the street in the woods with trails in it. There's no park, there's no nothing. It's the middle of the woods. And I'm like, what the hell are you guys gonna do there for like 5 hours? First of all, it's 5 billion degrees. Okay, there's gonna be bugs out there, and these trails are open to anyone. And I looked it up, and I went to Google Maps and stuff, and like, it's open to anyone, to the public, and there are trails in the middle of the woods. There's not these big open areas. It's literally trails through the woods. And I'm like, what? And they're gonna let the whole 5th grade just randomly go through these trails? How are they gonna keep track of these kids? And what are they gonna do if some like weird pedophile is walking the trails and all of a sudden all these 5th graders show up? Like, what? No. I am way too overprotective of my children. And I was like, this is not okay. I know I'm going off, but I have to explain. And then my daughter, I don't even remember what she specifically said, but they asked for her permission slip, and she's like, I'm not going on the field trip. And the teacher was like, why aren't you going on the field trip? And she's like, I think she said that my mom thinks that I'm gonna get jumped or something like that. And I'm like, you said that to your teacher? And she's like, yeah, I'm not gonna say what you really think was gonna happen. And I was like, what were you gonna say? And she's like, well, I can't say that you think I'm gonna get murdered or raped in the forest. And I'm like, well, it wasn't that intense. I was just concerned about safety, you know, because like a lot of like there are so many fights in the 5th grade and stuff. And I'm like, these kids are going to be out in the woods by themselves in trails. They have 5 teachers. That's not enough teachers to cover, like, you know, 300 students. Like, no, okay? I know. See what I mean? I gotta be in control of everything. I gotta make sure everything's right. That field trip is stupid and dangerous. Like, are you kidding me? And my daughter, Emma, is so clumsy. She would be running through this freaking trail forest thing, trip on a branch and break her foot or her leg or something like that. Yes, she would. Okay, because she sprained her wrist last year on a field day doing something that she like wasn't even anything to sprain. So I was like, no. So I told my daughter, I'm like, you're just gonna stay home, no big deal, you know. So but if my daughter stayed home, my son would know about it because they go to the same school, and he would be like, this is not fair, blah blah blah. So I had to lie to him, and I said, because Emma just went to the doctor on her birthday to get her I don't know, she had to get like three shots, like immunization things or whatever. It was just, you have to get certain shots at certain ages. And so I told him that the doctor called and they forgot to give her one of the shots, so I have to take her to the doctor so she can get a shot, so that he wouldn't be upset that she gets to be home today. Not today, but that day and he didn't, because he would throw a freaking fit, you know. I mean, and I could have kept him home, but no. No. Um, so I don't lie. I hate lying, but I had to not tell the truth so as to not upset my son. Yeah. Okay. What is the most boring thing I've ever had to sit through? Lots of things. Don't get mad. But some of the church services that I used to go to were awful. Like, okay, so I used to go to church. I don't anymore because I have changed. Sorry. But we had this one pastor, and he was really good. Like, even if you weren't, hold on, I have to cough. Sorry, I had to cough like really bad. But we had this pastor, and he, like, even if you weren't a churchy religious person, the services he did was fantastic. Okay, it was so good. But I'm so sorry. Towards the end of my church experience, I noticed that he was looking different and stuff like that, and I was just like, maybe he's getting older, because he was quite old. But it turns out he was battling cancer and he didn't want to tell anyone. Okay, and then just one day we show up to church and they're like, you know, he's moved on to be with God, and we're just like, wow. But it explained why he looked so different, right? But I'm like, what are we gonna do, because this is his church, and like, who's stepping up, right? Well, his wife stepped up, and I was like, yes, because she would do the women's Bible study. She would like head the women's Bible study, and I loved it because she always had this microphone, and I got major ASMR from her speaking. It was amazing, and she always is so good at women's Bible study. So I was like, this is the best day ever. She's going to be the greatest pastor. Like, yes, obviously not the best day ever, because, you know, our pastor had died, but I was like, you know, it was a transition type thing. So when I found out that she was going to be the head of the church, I was like, yes. She was not prepared, and she might be better now, but I mean, how can you know, I think she wasn't prepared just because her husband had just died, and like, she has this huge responsibility. I think there was a lot of pressure on her. So her are they called sermons? I don't know what they're called, but it was bad. It was so bad. I was just like, I can't do this, you know, because I was on the fence about the whole church thing anyway, and I was trying to be supportive of my husband and stuff like that, and I was just like, this lady ain't it. I was like, I don't want to go. So we kept not going, and then my in-laws, they were like, we're gonna leave the church, and we were like, what? I was floored. Okay, like, I could not believe this. And they're like, yeah, we found another church, we're gonna go there, this is better for us, and blah blah blah. And they've been there for years now. But I was just like, thank goodness, because I felt like I was being forced to go to this church because they were going to the church. And when they left the church, I was like, psh, we're done, we out. And we never went to church again. But like, that, she was the worst. It was so, and I was so confused because she was so good in women's Bible study. Like, I learned so many things from her, not just Bible-y stuff, but like life lessons. She was so good, but like when she had to be in control of the whole church, it was like this was not for her, you know. So that was really terrible to sit through. But another thing that was terrible to sit through is my daughter's induction into the National Honor Society. Oh my God. Okay, it was so. This is the second year that this particular school is doing National Honor Society. And because it's a new school, they don't really know what they're doing, okay? But we go, and they have all these students who are being inducted into it sitting at the front, and there's a stage. So you would think that they would do the ceremony on the stage, because it's kind of like a graduation. They would call your name, you would go up, you would shake this hand and get this little certificate thing, and then there would be a picture taken, stuff like that. No, they did not go on stage. They just did it on the floor. Like, I guess so the kids didn't have to walk up the stairs of the stage. But because they did that, no one could see anything. And I'm like, what the hell? And they were taking this picture with a freaking Polaroid camera. Okay, what? Use a digital camera and just email it to the families, right? No. They took a Polaroid, but the Polaroid was actually damaged and they didn't know, so we got a Polaroid of a black picture with a little shining white light over here. Not a picture of my daughter, just, it was awful. It was awful. It was the worst. So yeah, that was very boring to sit through. Okay, I hope scientists discover a cure for MS. Please, God, let this happen. Because I am very tired, as I'm sure, I don't know if there's millions, but hundreds of thousands of other people who suffer from this. I was just like, could you please just a magic one-time pill that I can take that's just, and I'm cured? Can that happen? I was kicked out of. I don't think I've ever been kicked out of anywhere. Okay. There's another, either the second recycling truck or it's coming back. I don't know. If it gets too loud, I'll pause the video. Okay. This was like probably 25 years ago. I got kicked out of a store and I did not give a crap. Me and my aunts, my mom, my aunts, and my grandma, we used to go shopping like every Saturday or every other Saturday, something like that. It was just like a girls' thing that we used to do. We don't do it anymore. I kind of wish we did, because I miss that. I miss going out to lunch, because like we would go shopping and then we would do lunch. That was fun. I wish we still did that. But yeah, we went to this store and the store was closing. It was called Linens and Things, okay? And we were in the store and I don't remember what happened. We were checking out and I don't know if something rang up wrong or what I don't remember that. But what I do remember was I was trying to explain something to the lady and she thought I was giving her attitude, so she was giving me attitude, so I was giving her attitude back, because I'm like, like, you don't get to talk to me like that, you know, like, I'm the customer, you should not be giving me attitude. So I was probably being a huge bitch, okay? But like, you don't freaking talk to me like that. So I was giving her attitude. I don't remember the specifics, but my mom was just like dying, okay? And then she called the manager over to deal with me, and I was trying to explain the thing, and I was like, and she's acting like this, and this is bullshit, and like blah blah blah. Sorry, I'm just being honest. And I guess because I cussed, the manager was like, you cannot treat my employees like that. And I was like, she is treating me like that. Like, F this B, and just whatever. Well, the manager's like, you can't treat her like this. And I was like, I'm trying to explain this and blah, 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 blah. And she's like, no, you have to leave. And I'm like, you're kicking me out? And she's like, yeah, and you can't come back. And I was like, oh no, I can't come back to the store that's closing. I wonder why it's closing. Like, I think I was like 17. So I was being a huge jerk. And like, they're gonna kick me out. Your store is literally closing forever. Oh no, I can't come back tomorrow when you're freaking closed forever. I guess you're not coming back either. Like, I wish I could remember the details of this. Hopefully it's not too loud. I wish I could remember the specific details because I was not in the wrong. I was not in the wrong. They were in the wrong. But then they tried to make me feel like, oh my God, you could never come back to the store. And I'm like, bitch, neither can you, because you're closing like tomorrow. Oh no. I would never do that now, but like, I was an idiot. I was 17 and they were giving me some drama. I don't think so. Okay. I get frustrated when I have things to do and I have time restraints. Like, I have a doctor's appointment, or I have like a phone call with the school at this specific time. I get very frustrated when I have time restraints or something like that, because I just go into panic mode, because I'm like, okay, I have an appointment today, so I can't do anything else because I don't want anything else to interfere with this one appointment. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's like, if I have something to do, I can only do that one thing, unless it's part of my everyday routine and schedule. But if it's outside of my comfort zone and it's like an extra thing, it's like, ugh, I just stress out. And it just like makes me frustrated, and everything must be on time. And by me on time is like at least 30 minutes early. I also get very frustrated when I do two things. Like, I had to go swimsuit shopping for my daughter, but I also had to get groceries later that day because something else happened. So that's like two things. Well, by the time I got home from getting the groceries, I thought I was gonna die because I can't walk. Okay, I can only walk for a limited amount of time, and then that's it. I can't do anything else. So I get frustrated when my legs won't work. And like literally after I went grocery shopping, my husband helped me put the groceries away and stuff, but like, then I felt gross because I had gone to the stores and stuff, so I wanted to take a shower. Well, I had to rest for like 20 minutes before I could make it upstairs to take a shower. And then when I was in the shower for 10 minutes, I could barely get out of the shower, and I literally had the towel around me, and I like made it to the bed, and I just fell over onto the bed because I could not move another inch. That was it. If that bed wouldn't have been there, I would have been laying on the floor, because my legs just, I can only do a very little bit before my body is just like, you're not doing anything else today. This is it. And that's very frustrating, that it's like, what? I did two things today. I did two things, and I can't do anything now for the rest of the day. That's not fair, and it makes me mad. Okay, one brand I will never buy. I don't know if it's a brand, but I will never buy anything from this company. And I'm sorry if you buy things from this company. That's your choice. I'm not dogging you. I'm dogging the company. But I will never, ever buy anything from Temu. Never. Never, never, never. I don't care how good the deal is, what the product is. I will never buy anything from Temu, because they literally have, like, I don't know what they're called. They're, it's like sweatshops slaves, and like they've done research into it and they actually do. It's like slave labor. No, I will not be part of that willingly. Like and I'm shocked that the US would actually work with companies like that. And I know a lot of companies, like I think Nike or Adidas or something like that. Um, a lot of the big name companies, they actually use like sweatshop slave labor, but it's outside of the country, so it doesn't affect their US companies. But I know that the US, people have done investigations into Timu and stuff, and it's all come back like really, really bad, but somehow they get around the work labor laws or something, and I don't know how it is, but I have that information now. So I will never not have that information in my brain, so I can never support them. Never. Even if they're like, oh no, they used to be that way, but they're not now. Well, that doesn't change my opinion about them. No way. No, no, no. Let's see. I go slower than most people when it comes to eating. I think I get this from my dad. My dad is the slowest eater in the world. The world. Ever since I was a little kid, we would go out to eat and stuff like that, and we knew that even when we were done eating, we would have to sit there for about 30 minutes because my dad was still eating. And it's not like we went to like a big buffet or something like that where he just kept going back and getting food and stuff. Like, I mean, we had eaten at places like that before, but no, my dad is just a very slow eater. Well, apparently so am I, and it drives my husband crazy. Crazy. He said on our first date, he was like panicking because my husband, he's the fastest eater in the world, okay? He can eat so fast that it's like, do you have time to chew? Like, are you just swallowing this food whole? Okay? But I eat apparently very slow. I didn't know this. But he said ever since our first date, I noticed you eat extremely slow because he had to time his bites based on when I took my bites so that he wouldn't appear to be like a pig or something. Now he does not care because obviously we're together and I'm not judging his eating, although he judges my eating. So like whenever we go out to eat, he says he has to eat slower if he wants to not just be sitting there staring and watching me eat. But I'm like, I like to enjoy my food. Like, I can't just shovel the food into my mouth. Like, I take a bite, I put my eating utensil down, and I eat the food. But usually when I'm eating, I'm talking and, like whatever. The other day, I don't even remember. I think we were having quesadillas, okay? There wasn't even any utensils. It was just quesadillas, and I was like dipping it in guacamole. Okay, so we're all eating our quesadillas, and he's done in like 3 minutes, okay? Well, I'm taking a bite and eating it, and then I'm telling a story about what happened and like, blah, blah, blah. And I finished telling the story, and he was like, can you please, God, take a bite? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he was like, you have been talking since the second you sat down, and I have no food, and you have all your food. And I was like, yeah, but I was talking. He was like, eat your... He wasn't yelling at me, but he was like, please, God, eat your food. You did, like, I could have eaten all my food and your food, and then all my food again by the time you took your next bite. So, yeah, I do that much slower than a lot of other people, I guess. And he says it's gotten worse. So I'm like, well, yikes, because when I get old, I guess it's going to be even slower. So he was like, by the time I'm done eating breakfast, by the time you're done, I'll already be working on lunch. Okay, all right, this is one company I really hate is Timu, you know. But also, and I don't hate these companies, but it's just like so stupid. I'm like Costco and Sam's and just those companies where you have to pay to shop there. It's like, shut up. Just let me shop there. It's like I shouldn't have to pay you like $100 a year just so that I can walk in the door. What? That's so stupid. Um, One word I always misspell. Okay, I don't always misspell this word. It's not a specific word, but like when I have to write field, like field day or field trip or something like that, or anything with an IE or an EI, I always misspell the word. So whenever I'm writing the word down, I have to write it down both ways and then I just look at which one looks right. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause the whole IE EI thing is stupid. I could spend hours talking about movies, shows, true crime, stories that happen to me, like this video. Like, I think I've only read, like, I don't know, 15, 16 questions, and it's 41 minutes long. I could just talk, right? Okay, let's just make this the last question since the video is almost 42 minutes now. I love snacking on. God, lots of things. I love snacking on candy, popcorn, salsa, like chips and salsa. Oh, gosh, I could really go over chips and salsa right now. Candy. I love candy, but I'm trying to eat better so that like my brain can reheal itself and stuff. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking now because the recycle truck is literally right there and it's probably like screaming in your ear. So anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.